My God, we coming out 40 years ago
40, bro. That's crazy.
for sexual assault. Hey guys, this is your favorite neighborhood gambler, Moss Money. Thanks for clicking on my video. If you're into gambling, if you're into winning money at gambling, hell, if you love talking Eagles, this is the channel and the videos for you. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, tell a friend to tell a friend, and enjoy the shows.
I didn't see this one.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
1987.
let's get a little visual.
Oh
You know,
my
a little
gosh.
visual. All right. Bryon Scott, a woman is suing former Los Angeles Laker player and coach from a sexual assault her during a team event at her high school in 1987, where he was 26 and she was 15. Um, accuses Scott of sexual battery and false imprisonment. Scott had fought to get his name removed from the court documents, but judge denied his request to be identified only as John Doe. The amended complaint named him publicly for the first time.
Mm.
She was sexually assaulted by Bryon Scott in a locker janitor's closet in a high school gymnasium. According to the court filing, Scott was a Laker player at the time. The lawsuit was filed in 2022 under California law that temporarily allowed older cases to be filed for underage plaintiffs. The law required the defendant to remain anonymous until certain thresholds were crossed. See, this is my problem with a lot of this stuff. And a lot of these high-ranking men that is having this problem. I'm not condoning again anything that these men are being alleged, accused of, or anything. You're guilty until you're innocent until proven guilty. But why do we get this protection for these plaintiffs and people with these accusations? If you're going to run my name in the dirt and name me out and name in public, you should be forced to put your name out there. Like, I don't understand this blanket protection. Now, some high profile cases, like Puff Daddy at the moment, I think his trial is getting ready to kind of happen. There could be allegedly jury intimidation, right? So I get that part. But my God, we coming out 40 years ago
40, bro. That's crazy.
for sexual assault.
But that was already. Didn't it say it was already done? I guess he just wanted to release the name. Is that what happened? I guess
No,
he
it
already went
was
to
it
court,
was the
right?
lawsuit was filed 3 years ago.
The lawsuit was filed 3 years ago.
Lawsuit was filed 3 years ago. This woman was 15 at the time in 1987, bro.
Mm.
So that's 1987. It's 2025 now, right? So that is what we got. 13 plus 25 is 38 years ago. This woman is 43 years old, and she's now talking about something that happened to her when 15. That's what I'm saying. Like, make it make sense. I just don't understand that. Like, if there was that much trauma, then I think that you should have a history of going to therapy, trying to help yourself, a history of not being able to date, like all this stuff. But if you got like kids, a whole family, you done been living your life. Well, you just saw Bryon Scott walking and you got triggered in LA, something?
Potentially.
You know what I mean? Like, he's been on TV. He's been the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't understand that part of this 40-year gap of now you want to sue somebody.
I I think it's tricky, right? Because we don't want to sound not compassionate. I think okay, so
Yeah, no, I don't. You're right. I
in
don't want to
respect
sound,
to
but
the
I'm just
to the
trying to
victim, right?
understand.
If this happened, which we're saying this is alleged, so say it did happen 40 years ago. I'm like on the fence about this long, like when is it, like how far back are we going for these assaults? But I guess at the same time, the victim still has to live with that for those 40 years, right? So it might be a moment
Absolutely.
where she's moved forward, she had a family, she got married, and she don't want to kind of bring this up. So then that time keeps going. And then maybe the kids are older now. Maybe she might be divorced, or maybe she got comfortable to where she can talk about this again. So you don't want to really criticize the victim, especially if it really happened. I just wish these things are addressed right away, right? So it can be handled right away.
Yeah, right.
But in respect to the victim should be able to do whatever she wants to do if this is true. And Byron, I guess he probably wished I guess he was thinking it was swept under the rug and he's going to move forward. But then just imagine she's watching television. She sees Byron life moving forward. He's making millions of dollars. He's the head coach. He's doing all these things. And it's like, I'm still in trauma from what you did to me. So I can understand that. And now it's time to pay up. You
It's-
gotta pay the piper. I guess, and that's what's happening right now.
Do I sound insensitive?
Huh?
Do I sound insensitive?
Well, no, I think it was more of the questioning about it, which I understand where you're going.
Okay, okay.
But we have to really kind of understand, like, if I'm looking at the victim too, and then her life is moving forward, there may be some things that are happening where she's not comfortable with bringing and exposing herself to this, and I can understand that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know
I
what I
agree.
mean? So it's just it's a tricky topic. We do not condone any type of sexual assault at any level. You know, from
Yeah, and
flashing somebody to the to the
let
to
me
the
put
to
this
the
up
extreme.
too, right? Because I want to make sure that, again, like you said, we're politically correct in just asking the question. But if you have any type of sexual assault, any type of you need confidential in terms of counseling or a rape crisis center, hit the number below, right? Click here, well, then not click here, but call 1-888-772-7227. I just want to make sure that is the number to the rape crisis center, um, to help with any issues in terms of reporting sexual assault or any type of support. I want to make sure, because I think it was the right thing to make sure that we are super sensitive to any victims that might be out there. I obviously I can't understand. I'm just asking the question. You know, again, you can't question somebody's trauma and how long that is,
Right.
but when is too long? When is it like? I just question that. Like, you know, if you're questioning or hurt from somebody 60, 70 years, like when is it like, when is that like, you can't tell somebody, I'll just stop. I'll just shut up.
I was in my back of my head. I'm just saying. I'm just got my fingers crossed. Like, all right,
I can't say no more. Hit the
yeah,
number. Call the
let's hit the
number.
number.
Yeah.
No, I mean, to respect to all the victims,
Yeah, I
it's just
want to
one of them
respect.
things.
Yeah,
Like, we don't
exactly.
know what the trauma is. We don't know, what they're
Correct.
going through in their own personal life, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was like you said, it's a different time back in the days. A lot of women weren't able to speak up and to protect themselves. I'm sure it'll be flipped on them from a lot of different, scenarios, especially if men of power, they can kind of destroy their career, destroy their lives. So now is an opportunity. People feel comfortable now to step up and they have the protections. So I hope they get what they're searching for, and that's peace. And if suing somebody for that trauma that you experience, I hope you get the max because you
Make
deserve it.
soon for
And
50 million.
50 million is a lot, but if that's hey, I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
soon for 50 million. Soon for 50.